Hi. It's time for another part, I think part 8 of If You Were There When They Signed the Constitution. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm Susan Buchser-Lochocki, and I'm running for President of the United States, and I'm reading a young reader's children's book. So, let's get started. This is part 8, I believe. What does the president do? The president cannot make laws. Only Congress can make laws. But the president has to carry out the laws. And the president can suggest laws. One of the most important things any government has to decide is when and if to go to war. The delegates believed this was too big a question for one person to decide. It seemed to them that kings were always going to war and sending people to their deaths. The delegates made the president commander-in-chief of the army, but the president cannot declare war on another country. Only Congress can declare war. Who would be president? The truth was that everyone in the room knew exactly who would be the first president. They had been looking at him all summer. It was George Washington. But they knew Washington couldn't live forever. Remember, they were inventing a new office, president. Who should pick the president? They went around and around on the question. First, they voted that the president should be picked by the Senate. But then they didn't like that. James Wilson from Philadelphia kept arguing that the president should be elected by the people as a whole. This was a lot for the delegates to swallow. It was rare for anyone in Georgia to know anyone in Massachusetts. How would anyone ever know who would be president? In the end, the delegates made up an Electoral College. Although the Electoral College is a strange and complicated system, James Wilson was right. Almost from the beginning, the president came to be seen as not just from one state, but as someone who has represented all the people. And I think I forgot to show you the other pages. So here we go. That was the first page I read. And then 1 page ago. And then what I just read. Then, so I'm just going to repeat that last part. The president came to be seen as not just from one state, but as someone who has to represent all the people. Then, why is the president elected for 4 years? Alexander Hamilton suggested that the president be elected for life. That idea sent some of the delegates screaming that he wanted to set up a king, just what they didn't want to happen. Some delegates thought the president should be elected for 7 years. Some said 3. Finally, delegates compromised on 4. Who would would make the laws? Congress or the president? It takes both Congress and the president to make a law. There are a lot of checks and balances built into the system. Suppose a member of Congress suggests a law making everyone eat peanut butter and mayonnaise sandwiches for lunch every day. That's crazy, you might say, but how would you stop the law? The delegates wanted to make sure that before any suggestion became a law, it would have to go through many steps, and each step it could be checked or stopped if it was a bad law. An awful lot of people would have to like peanut butter and mayonnaise before having it for lunch became a law. So, here we go. Now, yeah, I don't know if I would like that sandwich myself. How about you? Okay. Yeah. How are laws passed? A law begins with a proposal called a bill. Most bills can start in either the House of Representatives or the Senate. But before a bill becomes a law, both branches of Congress must vote for it. So, in the first picture, people in the House of Representatives study the bill. They send it to the Senate. People in the Senate study the bill and send it to the President. The President can sign the bill and then it becomes a law, or the President can veto the bill. Congress is the House of Representatives and the Senate, but Congress can look at the bill again. Then number 6 is a bill becomes a law. If 2/3 of the House vote yes and 2/3 of the Senate vote yes, the bill becomes a law. So that's called checks and balances. And it sounds like it's going to work. You can freeze your frame here and look at this closer if you want. That's quite interesting. So let me read this one little last bit and then we'll stop for today. Then the president gets the bill. If he or she doesn't like it, the president can say no or veto it. It's the same as what I read before. Veto comes from the Latin word for forbid. But the president's veto doesn't have to be the end of the bill. Congress can pass a bill over the president's veto if 2/3 of both the House and the Senate think the bill should be a law. Chances are that 2/3 of the senators and 2/3 of the representatives would not like peanut butter and mayonnaise, and this bill would never be law. Thank goodness. All right, so I will continue in the next video. Thank you for watching, for listening. I wish you a nice day. Thanks for stopping by my kitchen.